Okay, good evening. I would like to call to order tonight's regular school committee, Tewksbury School Committee business meeting at 6 p.m. Tonight we're meeting in the Center Elementary School. We are in the cafeteria. I'd like to say welcome. We have lots of people joining us tonight with lots of special things happening, which we'll be introducing in just a minute. If you could all join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Now I'd like to turn it over to Mrs. Terry O'Regan, our superintendent, who would like to maybe introduce some of our students.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Tonight's recognitions come by way of some live performances by our Center Elementary School and Tewksbury Memorial High School students, as well as some pictures that are in your packet that really highlight the amazing student and staff work done at our schools. And then we will also be announcing our 2 new Tewksbury Public Schools principals. So our first recognition tonight, we'll start with Miss Julia Baruchik. Julia, come on up and take your place on the side stage here. You may remember earlier this school year, we recognized Julia for an amazing national competition award she received from the Young Arts National Competition. You'll see why she won that award as she wows us with a teaser from the Tewksbury Memorial High School's upcoming performance of The Little Mermaid. Obviously, Julia will be playing Ariel. So Julia, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my collection's complete? Wouldn't you think I'm the girl who has everything? Look at this trove, treasures untold. How many wonders can one cavern hold? Looking around here you'd think, sure, she's got everything. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's its and what's its galore. You want thingamabobs? I've got 20. But who cares? No big deal. I want more. I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing, walking around on those, what do you call them? Oh, feet. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing, strolling along down what's that word again? Streets, up where they walk, up where they run, up where they stay all day in the sun, wandering free. Wish I could be part of that world. What would I give if I could live out of these waters? What would I pay to spend a day warm on the sand? Betcha on land they understand that they don't reprimand their daughters. Bright young women, sick of swimming, ready to stand and ready to know what the people know. Ask them my questions and get some answers. What's a fire and why does it? What's the word? Burn. When's it my turn? Wouldn't I love to explore that shore up above, out of the sea? Wish I could be part of that world.
Thank you, Julia. Ariel will be leaving the center school now as they are in their last dress rehearsal before the show this weekend. So if you want tickets, again, that's the Tewksbury Memorial High School Little Mermaid play.
Julia, that was amazing.
She's anxious to get back. Okay, Madam Chair, next we'll be recognizing our two new principals, and it's nice that we have so many Center Elementary School parents here because you'll be meeting your next year's school principal in a minute. I'm going to first talk a little bit about the process that we use to select our new principals. First, of course, we did a 2-week posting, and we reviewed every application. We solicited staff and parent feedback on what characteristics they were looking for in their next new principal. We also surveyed those who were unable to attend any of the live listening sessions. We then reached out for volunteers who wanted to serve on the interview committee. Those were teachers, staff, parents, and parents with students of differing abilities joined our teams. This process was followed through both principal searches, a school committee rep, and then school administrators who sandwiched the grade level. So we had the Doing School principal with our Heathbrook principal search, as well as the center school principal. And likewise for the Ryan principal search, we had the center school and the middle school principal participate. And then from those first interviews, we came to a consensus to successfully bring forth a smaller group of second-round finalists to the central office administrative team, and you served on that team as well, Madam Chair. I also did extensive research, reference checking on the chosen finalists. And in both cases, in that second-round finalist interview process, the final decision on these two new principals you're about to meet was unanimous. So I'm going to start by introducing Ms. Megan Corcoran. Megan, I'm going to talk a little bit about you, and then I'll give you the microphone for a minute. Megan has extensive experience as both a teacher, administrator, and curriculum leader. She has been a 4th grade teacher, an elementary assistant principal and principal, a director of K through 4 curriculum, and currently a district director of preschool through grade 12 curriculum across 6 schools. Megan is dying to get back into a school with kids. Megan holds licensure in Massachusetts as a principal, grades pre-K through 8, has New Hampshire licenses in the area of principal, K through 8 teacher, and special education. Also has some specialized certifications, one in OGAP, additive reasoning facilitator. It's a math professional development facilitator, and responsive classroom 1 facilitator. Megan also has extensive experience with our current ELA curriculum resources, Hegarty Foundations, and EL. She is also a trained, as I said, professional development provider for improved teaching and student learning in the area of math. Megan is an instructional leader with experience in implementing an MTSS. I said I'd be brief, but there's a lot to say about both of you. That's why you're here. With implementing an MTSS within a school, ensuring a solid Tier 1 curriculum for the youngest learners, supporting teachers, and fostering a culture of data-driven practices in their PLCs. Megan's proven administrative experience, skills, philosophy of education, and unending energy and enthusiasm for working with our youngest learners really showed us she was a clear match for not only the Heathbrook School, but also the district vision, and as a member of our leadership team. Last but not least, Megan is also the proud mom of a 3-year-old son and a 1-year-old daughter. So Megan, I want to introduce to all of you and to the committee our next Heathbrook School Principal, Megan Corcoran.
I don't feel like I have too much to add because that was my whole resume. But what I would say is I am very excited to be here. I did get to spend the day at the Heathbrook with Mrs. Garish, who told me so much about the school, and I learned a lot and have a lot more to learn, I think, from her while she's here. I'm looking forward to coming on board July 1st and hopefully get to spend some more time with her before then. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Welcome.
Next, I'd like to introduce Josh Murphy, the next school principal at the Ryan School. Josh also has extensive experience as an educator and administrator. As a principal, he has experience as a principal and assistant principal of students in the middle grades. He's been the director of student information, a math and computer science teacher, an adjunct computer science professor. Also, he has worked as a programmer in the private sector. Josh is licensed in the areas of Massachusetts principal, grades 5 through 12, and mathematics licensure. Did I forget anything there, Josh? Okay. Josh truly won over our interview teams as he shared his skills, experience, and true desire to work with the staff and the students at the Ryan and their developmental needs, those upper elementary and middle grade students. He has extensive experience and a passion for computer science and coding, and with building and improving the Aspen data system that we currently use. We learned that about Josh in his prior experience. He actually helped to make Aspen what it is, and I'm hoping he can help improve its use here in the district. Josh has developed let me just preface this with, moreover, in the words of his references, Josh has developed an exemplary school culture. He is an exemplary operational manager, uses effective communication and mutual respect as one of his strengths in cultivating and maintaining strong relationships with stakeholders. I witnessed Josh's approach already today with both staff and students as he attended the mishmash, the huge dismissal process out here in the front entry of our schools. He interacted with dozens of people right out of the gate. You would think Josh already has been with Tewksbury for multiple years. The kids enjoyed him immediately. Clearly, you are touted with having amazing communication skills and building relationships to provide a strong and warm culture, and we saw that today. So, Josh, in his previous roles outside of the school, Josh has been a track coach, high school, I believe, has served in many community service project roles in his own hometown, and is also the proud dad of 2 daughters, ages 13 and 15. Okay, I got that right. So I introduce to you the next principal of the John F. Ryan School, Mr. Josh Murphy.
Thank you. I'm not crying. It's geez, man. No, that was very beautiful. I appreciate all the kind words. I think I'm very excited for this opportunity. You know, I've been in a few different schools and a few different school systems, and you know, in those roles, we've done a significant amount of changes in the time that I've been there, and you know, coming here and just seeing the energy and sort of the vibe and just the smiles on people's faces and the excitement to both be here in school and to be meeting new people really hit home today. So it's what the hardest thing about being here tonight is I think that now there's like still like a 2-month wait where before I'm able to kind of hit the ground running. So I'm very excited to be here, very excited for the opportunity. You know, today, if anything, made me intensely more excited about being part of the Tewksbury Public Schools, and look forward to working with all of you, and look forward to seeing what you folks are going to be offering up soon, and look forward to seeing you guys all at the end of summer. Okay, so thank you.
Madam Chair, on behalf of the committee, the Tewksbury Public Schools Administration, and all of the community, we have some gifts for you. And I see our athletic director, Mr. Ronald Druin, in the room. We thank him for his contributions here. Megan? Thank you so much. Officially part of the team once you have the landing.
All right.
We're very proud of Tewksbury. We have a strong sense of community in Tewksbury, and I think I've said that in the interviews. And so you don't fit in unless you have some Tewksbury gear. So.
All right. Mr. Harding and Mr. Rogers and all of the amazing, wonderful teacher volunteers to the Center Elementary School performance of Shrek are in those back rows here. I want to formally, I don't know if you guys heard, but we really touted your performance and how amazing it was at the last school committee meeting. And if you remember, about a month ago, they really just wowed us. And I said not a dry eye was in the room or a smile. There was a smile on everyone's face when the whole cast ended the show with some of their amazing songs. So they're here tonight to sing for us. We'll let them get set up. I hear they don't even need a mic, that's how good they are. There's a lot of them. There were approximately 110 fourth grade students in that performance, and I think we have many of them all here tonight. All right. Mr. Harding, what will be the first song that they, oh, you have the mic, good.
I do, yes. They're not going to need it, I do.
Okay.
So, Mr. Murphy, these are your future incoming fourth graders. You got a quick introduction of your new principal. You guys ready to perform for him? Oh, come on. You guys ready to perform? All right, let's show them what you got. Listen for the music. You ready? Maybe. And now, casts, do you believe?
Love
Bravo. Amazing.
So great. Would you like to entertain a motion for break so we could allow people to leave?
Yeah, so moved. 5 minutes?
Yep.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we resume our meeting at 6:30 PM. And Mrs. Terry Regan, I will turn that back over to you again.
Sure, and I am going to pass the mic to Ms. Milligan, who will now highlight the student work you see in your packet, those pictures.
Thank you. Your packet includes photographs showcasing remarkable student achievements throughout our district. These moments of excellence highlight how our students are thriving academically, artistically, and beyond. The Wynn Middle School proudly celebrates Zia Shah, Claire Patrone, and Carter Fleming, who captured first place at the Massachusetts Science and Engineering Fair at UMass Lowell, an outstanding achievement reflecting their dedication to scientific inquiry and innovation. In the arts, Amani De Silva earned the prestigious honor of being selected for the first violin section at the 2025 Massachusetts Music Educators Association Junior District Festival, demonstrating the exceptional music talent nurtured at our schools. Sixth graders at the Ryan School brought history to life through compelling projects on ancient Egypt, showcasing their deep understanding of this fascinating civilization. The school's recent STEAM nights beautifully illustrated our curriculum's progression between the Center Elementary School and Ryan School, demonstrating how our educational approach builds seamlessly across the grade levels. At the Doing School, excellence shines at every age. Our preschoolers enthusiastically engaged with the Frog Street curriculum, developing critical motor skills and speech capabilities through interactive activities in the buildings. Kindergarten and first grade students demonstrated their growing literacy skills through collaborative reading and writing experiences. And the entire school community enjoyed a special highlight when NBC10 meteorologist Tevin Wu visited, bringing science to life through the memorable media experience. And finally, at the Heathbrook, they wanted to share how they celebrate National Down Syndrome Day on March 21st by rocking their crazy socks. Wearing crazy or mismatched socks on World Down Syndrome Day, March 21st, 3/21, is a symbolic way to raise awareness about the condition and celebrate the uniqueness of individuals with Down syndrome. People with Down syndrome have an extra copy of chromosome 21, and since chromosomes are shaped like socks, mismatched socks are worn to represent this extra chromosome. We extend our deepest appreciation to all of the students and staff whose dedication makes these learning experiences meaningful, purposeful, and truly extraordinary. Your commitment to excellence continues to inspire our entire district community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
No, looks like a lot of great stuff happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great time of year.
It is.
I mean, there's a lot of great things, and I think recognizing students that are doing things individually outside of the district is pretty cool too. I mean, we definitely don't have a strings orchestra, but students that are studying violin outside of school and still thriving is pretty cool. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. It's pretty awesome. Okay, next we have Maggie Kinnan here with us today again for her update from the TMHS. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Good evening, everyone. Tonight's update is not long. Just a couple of new things from various clubs and events from the past couple of weeks. First, I have the newest on sports. Today was a busy day for all student athletes as tennis, lacrosse, softball, baseball, and track all took the field or court to play both high competition MVC teams and other divisional rivalries. Yesterday, the initial power rankings came out. Girls softball is our highest team at number 6. Girls tennis is at 18, shortly behind is boys lacrosse at 21. Both girls lacrosse and baseball lie at 26, and finally boys tennis is at 46. Next, a couple of updates from TMHS clubs. Tomorrow is opening night for the theater company's rendition of Little Mermaid, as our sample was given by Julia. Tonight, tickets are just $10 but are selling out quickly. Over 72 TMHS students make up the cast, crew, and pit of this beloved Disney musical. Everyone is invited, and they hope to see you under the sea. At the district's 41st annual art show next Friday, don't forget to stop by the Interacts Club's bake sale. All proceeds will be going to Make Way for Chucklings. This organization supports a local family navigating their father's recent diagnosis and passing from ALS.
And finally, the miscellaneous news. Over April break, the World Language Department and Social Studies Department took a trip to Montreal and Quebec. 19 students and 4 teachers attended. Everyone had a great time visiting both cities, going to a sugar shack, and going to Montgomery Falls. Today was the first day that students followed the Win Wednesday schedule. Each Wednesday, all 7 classes will be an hour, 8 minutes shorter to account for a new block that will help students make up work and get a little extra help for their classes. I asked a couple of students how they felt about it. One said, I liked it because it's helpful for people who need extra help and more studying before big exams such as the AP test coming up. And another student said that they liked it because it allowed them to make up tests during school instead of after school when they had other commitments. Finally, next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. All clubs are excited to celebrate our amazing faculty throughout the week with ice cream, breakfast, and raffles. That's all for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, comments?
I have one.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
Moncada.
Please.
Oh, I just have one. Is the extra block new? Is this something new they're doing this year?
Yes, the high school is engaged with their staff to think through a pilot of a WIN block, as we obviously are trying to do, and certainly we're encouraged to do through the special ed audit. But and they're looking at student choice, not only what the student needs, because the teacher knows they need that, but what does the student feel they need? And so more to come, because it is a pilot, and we'll see how it goes.
Great. Thank you.
My question was Miss Biagioni Smith's question, so I'm all set.
Sorry, just a follow-on question to that. Is that block for everybody across the entire school so that all teachers are available to help whatever students need? Oh, great.
Great. And my question, it's for on Wednesday for everybody.
Yeah. So a normal schedule for us is we have 7 blocks and each are an hour and 8. But starting today, each class was only an hour, and then we have our advisory class, which is normal. They meet like once a month on a Thursday, and it's like equivalent to a homeroom in like the lower schools. And so now what you can do is go talk to a teacher, say, my math teacher, I missed a day of school and that was an exam day. So I can go and say, instead of coming after school, can I come during the Excel block? And they put me on a list saying I can go there instead of my advisory class.
Great.
And what the Excel block is another acronym that they're using in the WIN block. However, it is a what I need. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Great, thank you. Thanks for the update.
Thanks, Maggie.
All right, okay, moving on, we have no presentations tonight. Citizens Forum, seeing nobody present, we'll move on past that. And the approval of minutes, Mr. Cutlass is not with us here tonight. We got started off, it was kind of a exciting start to the meeting, so I didn't announce that, so my apologies. And in the absence of our clerk, I will ask our former clerk, Mr. Moncada, if you would like to help us with the approval of minutes.
Yep, so motion to approve our regular meeting minutes from April 16th, 2025.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Moncada, second by Mrs. Biagioni Smith. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And that is unanimous. And then for the payment of bills?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I should have had it open here. Let's see here. So for payroll period ending 4/24/25, move the school department payroll be approved and certified in the amounts and categories as shown for a total amount of $1,636,400.93.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Mr. Moncada, a second by Mrs. Biagioni Smith, to approve and certify the payroll period ending April 24th, 2025. Total amount of $1,636,400.93. Mr. Moncada, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mrs. Biagioni Smith, how do you vote?
Aye.
And Mrs. Anderson, how do you vote? Aye. And I vote aye as well for unanimous vote. Okay, and then for our superintendent and staff report, Mrs. Terry Regan.
Sure, thank you. I'm just going to add a little bit to the high school updates. Early this month, the Tewksbury Memorial High School Guidance Department hosted the 13th Annual College Fair. You can see in your packet that 39 colleges were at the high school to share their offerings and talk to our students. Many thanks to Ms. Christine Frandudo, the Secretary of the Guidance Department, who worked so hard to make this event informative and a success for all of our students that attend. As you heard from Maggie, next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. Tuesday, May 6th is National Teachers Day. Our school PACs and the administrative team have some very nice prizes planned out for our teachers and our educational staff. Our teachers obviously do so much to support our students in their jobs, and this is a week we share our gratitude for their efforts. In your packet are also the 2025 and 2026 Patriots Pen and Voice of Democracy essay competition applications. You might ask, why are we getting this out now? Because this happens in the fall, but we thought if we get this out earlier, and certainly give students the whole summer to potentially think about writing an essay prior to the start of school when they're just so busy, that maybe we would have more participation. So we'll be putting these applications in our district newsletter as well throughout the fall of next school year. And finally, in your packet, you have a handout highlighting the Special Education Extended School Year Services, known as ESY services. So for all students that are eligible for these services over the summer, our district special education department is sending this flyer home to those families. They'll get that. We will also be sharing with you that grid of all the summer school offerings at the May meeting. That's our intent. And that is the conclusion of my updates for tonight.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Mrs. Peters-Smith?
No, I don't have any at this time, thank you.
Ms. Anderson? I am all set, thank you. Ms. Moffett?
No, thank you.
My one question, in terms of the special education offerings, are any of these grant dependent?
No, no, not, let me just stay with no.
Okay.
We will be offering for every student that has, whether it's partially from grant or partially from our budget, we offer these services because it's part of the student's IEP. We also offer transportation for those that have that in their IEP.
Okay. Okay, great. And I'll save the rest of my questions for
Let me
May.
just say, not dependent on grant funding, okay?
Perfect. Okay, and, okay. And, thank you, Madam Chair. You all should have received an invitation to the 41st Annual District-Wide Art Show on Friday, May 9th and Saturday, May 10th. The TMHS Band and Chorus will perform Friday night at 6:30 with the public exhibition beginning at 7 p.m. The show also runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. We want to thank all of our staff and students for contributing to the long-standing tradition of excellence in the arts for our schools. Also in your packet, we have the Ryan School Career Fair. The Ryan School had over 25 parents and community members attend the career fair. Careers that were highlighted included healthcare professionals, business owners, law enforcement, financial advisors, marketing, and a guitar luthier, and many more interesting occupations for our students to consider. Thank you to all the participants for taking time out of their day for our students. And that is all I have this week. Thank you. Questions or comments?
Nope, none at this time.
Special thanks to Mr. Moncardo.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was glad to, that was my third year attending it, so
Wonderful.
if they ask me back, I suppose I'll do it again. Twist my arm.
We will be sure to ask you back.
Mrs. Anderson, you missed the harmonica that he has.
Yeah,
I did
yeah.
not miss it. My son missed it.
Oh, yeah.
Someone brought it home for me. I did not miss it. Thank you.
I'm just doing my part.
Okay. All right, thank you. And Mr. Libby?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a few items to go over tonight. First, in your packet, we included some photos on, I believe it's page 30 of the packet, the first section of the packet, of the Heathbrook, that wing of the building that we were doing the construction project on. Sort of the final major pieces were put in place over April vacation. The blinds that need to be custom made for those windows were delivered and installed, and the pass-through doors between the two classrooms that were also kind of delayed in getting to us were installed. So it's basically we're done with that project. There'll be a few minor punch list items, and we'll keep an eye on things as they go, but the bulk of the work there is done. So I just wanted to report that to the committee. Have a few updates on town meeting warrant articles that we have in place. First major one, Article 14 on the town meeting main warrant, the main meeting on May 5th is where our, Article 4 is where our budget will be approved for FY26 as part of the overall town budget. That's a typical process that happens each year. Article 4 is the main budget for the town, and the school department's section of that is included as part of the overall approval of the town budget. We have an article in place, Article 14, for to get some money for tech upgrades that are E-rate eligible in our schools. And we received some good news on that front this week, that our E-rate applications through the federal program were approved for funding. So it's sort of, if you think about it, the other half of the money that we're getting from the federal government, we're getting half from the town, half from the federal government to complete those projects. The other half, the federal half, is sort of in place for us to proceed with those projects. So provided that the Article 14 gets approved at town meeting, we'll have the full funding to move forward with those important tech upgrades at our schools to keep our wireless access available for our students. And then the special town meeting on May 7th contains some funding in Article 1, a budget transfer for school for FY25, so the year we're currently in, of $650,000 to assist us in making it to June this year. $390,000 we had sort of known about through our school group health insurance, the funding of that, the federal programs. We knew that savings would be coming our way, and the sort of new money was available funds in the town Shaw Tech account that we generally split costs and savings with the town 60-40. So we're receiving another approximately $260,000 from those savings related to savings on Shawsheen, related to Shawsheen Tech invoicing this year. So we'll be getting $650,000 added to our budget and putting it into places where we've seen some unexpected increase in costs throughout the year, in mostly special ed accounts that will help offset some of those cost overruns. So that's good news we have coming our way, hopefully in a week. And that is all I have to report today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions or comments? Ms. Biondi Smith?
No, not this time.
Just a quick question, with the 650 coming back, do you know where we're gonna net at the end of the year?
Hopefully,
Okay.
yes. I can go over that when I present my quarterly update.
Okay,
We can touch on that.
thank you.
Sure.
Ms. Montero?
Yeah, I had one, and actually it wasn't on anything you touched on tonight. It was on the fee, the discussion of the fee increase. I know we're going to be doing the meeting next week. With regards to the proposed increase for like athletic fees, the amount of money that is being proposed to increase it, do you have a breakdown as to like where that money gets spent? Like, is it all just transportation? Is it transportation and administrative costs? Is there, you know what I mean? And
Historically, it's been about 82, I think the number was 82% transportation, and then some minor other supplies, fees, maybe a stipend or two, some insurance that related to athletics, things like that. But the bulk of it is definitely
Is the
transportation. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. I was just trying to get an understanding of, where, what buckets it flows into. Because I'm sure, if you haven't been asked, I'm sure you will be asked.
Yeah.
With the increase in fees, will that ratio change? Or is transportation costs going up for athletics?
They are.
Okay.
Yeah. Our contracted rate for trips to our typical athletic opponents is increasing per trip. Now it's sort of a natural progression every year. There's a minor increase, and even though the number of trips, we try to control that as much as we can through the use of our vans or for our smaller teams. If coaches are comfortable, advisors are comfortable, we use that as much as we can. But there are certain teams that we just need to use buses for.
Madam Chair, for you, we've anticipated some of the questions as well that may come up in the listening session, and we hope people do attend. And we have abbreviated the presentation, but thought through, what really is the most important information people need to hear.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
No, I don't have any questions now. I think our quarterly update might have a couple more. Thank you. Thank you for your work at the Heathbrook as well.
Sure.
Looks like that's coming along well. Okay. Correspondence and information, is there anything there that we didn't cover? No, looks like we did.
You good?
Okay. Consent agenda, was there any additional comments, anything there that we didn't cover? And is there a motion there?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
A second.
Okay, a motion and a second. And all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And school number report. So we haven't really looked at our assignments, so I'll kind of go historically by who's been covering these with the CPAC.
So they met last week. I think both Katie and I weren't able to attend that meeting, but they did put forth their nominations for their board members. Their next meeting is on May 15th, and they will hold elections at that time.
Any questions or comments on the special education thing? And they'll be attending our meeting, was it June meeting. And Wellness Advisory Committee?
No meeting since our last meeting.
Okay. And Policy Subcommittee, we have a scheduled meeting with the 11th.
Let me see if I can
Sound right?
find it on the calendar. Ms. Johnson, do you remember when our next?
May 13th, it says down here.
So May 13th?
It's on the calendar, so let me look. I believe.
Yep, May 13th.
Okay, you found it faster than I did. Thank
So
you.
it's a couple weeks. And then School Facility Study Committee, we don't have any updates since Mr. Cutlass updated us last meeting. Moving on to policy changes, proposals, and adoptions. We're just moving right along with this. In terms of informational readings, we don't have any to bring forth this meeting. First reading, policies reviewed and recommended to revise. We do have 3. We have ACR, non-discrimination policy including harassment and retaliation. We have IKF, graduation requirements, and JICK, harassment of students. Any questions or comments of those 3? Okay, we'll hear those next meeting as a second and final. This meeting right now, we do have a number of second and final. These we will be voting on tonight. So if there are any questions or comments on these before we vote, now would be the time. So we have AC, non-discrimination policy including harassment and retaliation. ACA, non-discrimination on the basis of sex. ACAB, sexual harassment. ADDA, background checks. EFC, universal free school meals. EFD, school nutrition program charge policy. JF, school admissions.
JLCV, immunization of students, JLCD, administering medicines to students, JLCDR, which is the regulations for medication administration in the Tewksbury Public Schools, and JLCDA, delegation of prescription medications for field trips and short-term special school events. Any questions or concerns on any of these policies? And if not, are you comfortable voting on these as a slate?
I have no questions and would make a motion to approve the slate as presented previously by yourself.
I'll second.
Okay. So, all in favor, please say aye.
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 And that passes unanimously.
Madam Chair, I just, for one moment, I apologize. Yes, question. I had made a note on, I thought it was AC, but it was actually ACR, it was the non-discrimination policy. The only thing I was going to ask is, I saw that they input the name and contact information for...
It's required.
It's required. That was a question as to whether or not, so will we have to update that anytime we have?
Yep. Every time we have a rollover of the Title IX or any of the
Organize it.
associated,
Okay.
we update it.
Okay, that was my only question. Sorry, I apologize for
No.
for that.
No, this is the time.
We would
Okay,
like to
and
just put the title, but that is...
No, yeah. So we'll have to approve it every time. Okay. Thank
And I
you.
would like to just, again, thank our Kelly Constantino with Health Services, lead nurse, and Karen Baker O'Brien for a lot of work on a lot of these policies, as well as Mrs. Johnson, because these are complicated, and as you know, just the work that we've done even reading through them, these are complicated. So a lot of work over a lot of months. So it's nice to get these back to Mrs. Constantino so that she can have these in place for all the end-of-year field trips and everything else that go on. So we'll get back to work on those policies. If there are any policies that you want the committee to start looking at as we regroup, let us know. Old business, quarterly reports. We go back to Mr. Libby.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So in our, the second section of our agenda, there's, begins on page 65. But I'm going to call your attention to what's on page 74, kind of the final page of the quarterly expenditure report by Cost Center, which has a projection for where we'll be through the end of the year. Everybody with me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So we encumber all salary that we're aware of, all recurring salary, which is probably 75% of our salary expenses. So we encumber those in our payroll system. We encumber all of our major expenses like utilities, transportation, tuition, things we know about that recur monthly. So we have a pretty good handle on those types of expenses. There are unexpected expenses that we're not quite 100% on. Some of our utilities, we came in with some surprise numbers on utilities for February and March that were a little higher than expected. But generally, we know a lot of the numbers ahead of time. What you see on the go-forward plan on projected expenses are the expenses that we don't encumber. So payroll expenses for like substitutes, hourly staff members. If we don't know how many hours they're going to work, we don't know how many substitutes we're going to need, things like that, that we get slips for, that get entered into into our payroll system each payroll. Our sick buyback for our retirees, our spring coaches, we have a number for that. Retirement incentive and vacation payouts at the end of the year gives us our total encumbered salary. We have some miscellaneous unencumbered operating when things break at schools and we don't have a choice but to fix them. some other miscellaneous operating expenses that might go higher than we anticipate. So our total projected unencumbered costs, I have at 1.149 million. We have 98 million from up above in available budget currently. Savings and revenue plans, these are sort of steps we've taken to increase our budget, save money, or find new revenue sources to fund some of these unexpected costs. We've converted our lunch assistance to be funded out of food services. We can fund 50% of their salaries because 50% of the time they're performing food service related work. That $650,000 town meeting transfer, subject to town meeting approval. We're not taking that yet in munis because it hasn't happened at town meeting. And then reserve fund or circuit breaker extraordinary relief. I'm carrying $725,000 in that line, which we hope will be from circuit breaker extraordinary relief. We've put in the file with the state. We should be hearing this week. I thought we may have heard by today, and I would be able to have some good news for you on that front, but the amount, if the circuit breaker extraordinary relief is fully funded, the amount we'd be getting back is in red there over to the side, 1.025246. But we know if that were to not come through for whatever reason at the state level, we could tap the reserve fund from the town that is in existence that requires school committee approval and selectmen approval to get us the funding we need to get through the year. So the total savings revenue solutions would be 1.415, and the net at the end of that at the end of the year with all that in play would be 364,548 to the positive. And if that were to come from the circuit breaker extraordinary relief, that money would just stay in the circuit breaker fund and roll over, as that's set up as a revolving account. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Any questions or?
Mrs. Anderson, do you want to?
No, I see that, I mean, I see that with this 650, we become that positive, so that's
Yeah.
the start of a challenging year. That's a good result. Let's just hope at town meeting we get the approvals for that transfer.
Right.
I'm good, thank you.
Mrs. Moncada?
No, I think I'm all set. Thank you.
I think, I agree, I'm fully covered for now. Yeah.
Okay. And Mr. Luis, just to be clear, this extraordinary relief, that to qualify for that, that's 20, you have to have spent 25% over your special education costs from prior than the year before.
Correct.
So that's,
Yes. And we did meet that threshold this year.
okay.
So
There's no real reason why we wouldn't qualify for this.
no, it'd just be the funding from the state. So I always use buckets as an analogy. There's a limited bucket that the state has to allocate, and they're not sure how much cities and towns are going to be asking for. So if the cities and towns ask for more than what's in that bucket, sometimes they decrease the percentage funding for cities and towns. So to make it fit, make it fair for everybody. Not sure if that's going to happen or not. Haven't heard any rumblings one way or the other, but that's sort of the only concern I would have at this point.
Okay. Keep us posted.
Yep.
All right, thank you. appreciate your work on this. This has been a nail biter. Thank you.
Certainly challenging,
Yeah.
different year.
Yeah. Oh, I did have one comment, actually. In just in noticing a trend, I think, through the different schools, the daily sub-aides seem to be kind of a higher cost than expected, I think, than what was planned. Was that just kind of underestimating, or we had a higher need, or?
We used to not find daily sub-aides, frankly. The way it worked out, we always end up filling the substitute teacher role, and then the sub-aide role, or the sub-aide would be stepping up for the teacher, or they didn't want to step up for the teacher in the past, and we'd find a substitute, we'd have a substitute teacher, so we'd be paying the substitute teacher rates. We're finding more aides are stepping up into the teacher role, and when we're bringing in subs, that they're backfilling into the substitute aide role.
Oh, okay.
Then just
We raised that rate, you know, for our ESPs too,
Right.
substitute, and we have a very competitive rate for subs as well.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
We have had to shut off, you know, new applications for substitutes at certain times because we just really have more subs typically than we need. But, you know, it's cyclical throughout the year, but I would say all of those things connected is why we're spending more.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting them. We pay better.
Right.
And we definitely have ESPs doing more substituting.
Yeah, so it's a better problem than
Yeah.
it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. And school committee meeting schedule. So this schedule that we have now is slightly different than the one we saw at our last meeting. Do we have that in the packet?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see
It's,
that?
yep, it's right after the Dave's, when you get to the end of Dave's budget.
Okay.
You'll see
Oh,
it.
yeah. So, did everybody have a chance to look at them? Any issues? Meeting dates? Okay.
I mean, there's plenty of time to, some of those ones next year, it's, you know.
So, and then from the admin perspective, did you all have any thoughts? We had looked at it and thought to maybe, let's plan through the end of December, and then maybe come back in August or September and plan, you know, the following, because we found the last couple of springs, we were changing dates, which was more frustrating, I think, than it was to just, in September, let's plan, you know, late winter, spring. Is that okay?
No, it works. We don't have all the dates for some of the major, you know, conferences, whether it be MASC or, while we have some, we don't have them all, and I think that that's important that we do know them so we can better inform this schedule and not have to jump around a couple of the months.
All right, so, Mrs. Johnson, did this require a vote, did you say? Or just informational? It does, was roll call vote? Okay, all right, so, is there a motion?
Make a motion to approve the calendar as presented in the packet for 2026.
Okay. Second. All right, and for a roll call vote, how do you vote? Mrs. Bjorn Smith?
Aye.
And Mrs. Anderson? Aye. Mr. Moncada?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. So we have a calendar now through the end of December. Thank you. All right. Then school committee listening session. So this, after we left our meeting the last time, we talked about student fees. And in discussing the opportunity to give the community a chance to either give us their thoughts, speak with us, give us some feedback, asking the superintendent and Mr. Libby to join us in one of our listening sessions. posting it as an open meeting, speaking with the town clerk, the best way to do that. This will be posted as a special meeting, but also as a listening session. So it'll be a meeting that's open and will be closed, but we'll also have the opportunity for the community to come and speak. Is there anything you'd like to add, Mrs. Terry Regan?
Only that this will be at the Wynn Middle School. There's a lot going on there that night, so we capitalized on that and plunked this listening session right in the middle. Hopefully parents that are there with middle school students will really want to talk about, what this impact may be for them in moving on when there are more opportunities at the high school. And it's, of course, it's open to every single parent of our district, but just noting that that's the location, and we were strategic in that planning.
Any thoughts? Anybody else?
Just a question, will this go out in a s'more so that we get it out there?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Moncada, any thoughts?
Would there be confusion saying that it's at the Wynn, thinking it's just for Wynn students? Should it say open to all students
We
or
can
open to all
send it again.
families?
I think it was in the last more. I can't be sure right now. I'd have to open that up, but we'll send it a blast out to everyone as well.
Yeah. I don't want people to think it's just for
Sure.
Wynn students or students leaving, going to the high school or whatever.
Good point. Yeah. Okay, and new business for the Valley Collaborative, board member appointee. Mrs. Terry Regan, if you want to just chat a little bit about your role and what you've done there.
The member districts, generally the superintendent of those member districts serve on the board of directors for our collaborative, the Valley Collaborative. I have been doing this for the past 3.5 years, and certainly I'm happy to continue to serve at your will.
I think I could just speak a little bit on just the few, there've been annual meetings that I've attended. I think it's a very well-run school. The few things that I've read on them in terms of their surveys that they've passed with flying colors, the nice reports that have been done, their scores that have come back, the meetings that I've sat in on seem to be well run. The school people seem very happy. So I'm happy to nominate Mrs. Terry Regan to continue to represent us on that board.
I would second that nomination.
Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for your work there. Okay, school committee assignments. So Mrs. Johnson has shared just kind of a list with us all. Pretty much doesn't change much from last year. We have some of the same assignments. If anyone wants any discussion on that, let me know. I don't think I actually have the paper. So wellness would be Chris and Katie again. Policy, Chris and myself. Special education PAC representatives would be Kayla and Katie. That stays the same. The English language learner or multi-language learner PAC would be Kayla and Chris. Those are our subcommittees as they stand now. School committee representatives, we have one, has been Kayla on the district safety and security, and that's a district committee that Kayla has represented us on, and that would stay the same. The student voice work group, Chris and Katie are interested in doing that, so I listed that right now as a work group. I think I have, if you look at, we have two policies. One is as a subcommittee and one is as a advisory committee. So if you want to look at those at some point, just the committee as a whole, one is BDE and the other one is BDF. They're worth looking at. If we start this as a work group and see what this ends up being. This could be something that is really more of a district, student voice. Oh, bless you.
Thank you.
Something that Mrs. Terry Regan is already doing on her own. but that then there's some community involvement? Is it something where school committee is visiting student groups that are in existence now? Is this something that school committee wants to form its own sort of committee groups? So without knowing what this is going to become, I didn't really assign it anything. So if it's going to become something more of a subcommittee, that's something we would have to come back and kind of vote to form, look at those policies and figure out what this might end up being.
Okay.
So for now, I'm listing it as a work group. And then Chris has volunteered to participate in, if there's a district AI work group, he's volunteered to be a part of that. Then the appointed select board subcommittees, we are going to have to vote separately on that. And then collective bargaining, I just basically, Jamie was interested in taking Rich's former position with the TTA teachers and ESPs. That would be Jamie and myself. The custodians, Chris and Katie. Secretaries, Chris and Katie. Tag would be Kayla and Jamie. Nurses, Kayla and myself. And food services stays as Katie and Kayla. So we could vote for our subcommittees, school committee representatives, and collective bargaining positions, unless anybody has any thoughts for discussion.
No.
No, I haven't, actually, I guess, yes. I looked up those policies, they, BDEF and BDFA, they were all updated in 2022. I don't know if anyone watched the select board meeting, but I know that they're relooking at a lot of their committees, subcommittees as well, and working with the district. Do you know if our policies align with that as well? With what I guess is required by the town when it comes to appointing anyone who sits on these? So for instance, say the wellness, I think it says something along the lines of, you know, your members should be appointed every year. Obviously, we do that as a committee because we have an election every year and we need to, but do we know if all of that happens throughout those as well?
So these are our subcommittees.
Right.
So the select board has appointed committees, so I'm not sure how all their appointed committees work. Our subcommittees do fall under our Bs.
Right, yeah.
So, like our BDE. So the subcommittee will be established through the action of the committee. The committee chairperson and its members will be appointed by the committee chairperson, subject to the approval by the committee. The committee will be provided with a list of functions and duties. The committee may make recommendations for the committee action, but it will not act. It doesn't really say
Maybe it's
per year.
BDF.
So that's our,
That's
that's BDE.
Okay, so I guess it
Yeah.
falls under BDF.
If I may, Madam Chair?
Yes.
Through you, the first sentence says the Tewksbury School Committee will have no standing committees. It may, however, establish special subcommittees at its annual organizational meeting. So this is the time you would do it every year. And then the subcommittees may be created for the specific purposes that Ms. Garabedian just listed.
Perfect.
Yeah. Let me look at the next one
And
for you.
then that's the other one, is the BDF advisory committees to the school committee. That's the one you mean?
That's the one I think I mean that has a membership of 10-year committee members will for 1 year only unless member is reappointed. So that's the one I think I'm thinking of. So that's
I
advisory.
think your practice is going to cover them all if you
Yeah.
do
There's
this annually.
Hundreds of policies.
Right.
Those are the two I printed,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
So,
a
and that
long-
was my, yes, and so I'm glad, yeah, so,
And
so.
they
when
were
it-
done in 2022, so they're recent.
Yes. So that was my concern in looking at this student voice work group. Where does this fall? Is this going to fall as a subcommittee? Might this fall as an advisory committee? Until the work is defined, I don't know where to put it.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Yeah.
so you two will be really, if we vote on this, you'll be doing the work and can help us
Yep.
define.
Got it.
Okay.
But thank you. I think, I like the fact that we're all thinking the same way in terms of transparency, so that's good.
So would you be willing to take a vote on everything except the appointed select board committees as presented in the
Yeah, so
As presented in the
those would
packet?
be, yeah, we take those as two separate votes, yes.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the committees as presented for Wellness Policy, CPAC, LPAC, District Safety and Security, Student Voice Work Group, District AI Work Group, and Collective Bargaining.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so that's
And then,
unanimous.
I would like to make a motion to approve the appointed select board subcommittee members of Bridget and Jamie to the Tewksbury School Facility Study Committee.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, and my recommendation for that was, I think there's not going to be a lot of meetings left, and that would just be to, I think, complete the work of what was started there, so, all right, thank you. Okay. All right, and school committee matters of interest. We've already discussed a lot of interesting matters tonight, so is there anything else to add?
Just one thing, I think we all really appreciate the calendar that you put together for us for the end of year events. So can you just make sure that that's updated with everything that's going on so that we know? I feel like I reference that like at least twice a week just to make sure we know what's going on.
I'm glad it helps.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Moncada, anything for you?
No, I'm good for now. Like I said, it's last meeting, so it's a busy time of year, so looking forward to all the things that are going on, so.
Okay. Mrs. Peterson?
No matters of interest.
Okay. No, I think you've covered a lot. You know, good luck to the end of the year for everyone. So
Right.
there's a lot going on.
Busy time.
Yep. Future.
I say this, that energy is high, and sometimes at this time of the year, patience is low. So we're getting kids out and doing as much as we can with them to keep them, because it is a testing season too, right? And they're very energetic, and they're having lots of fun, as we've seen out on the playground. And they're counting the days, I can assure you.
Yeah. And it's, you know, as exciting as it is to meet new principals, be excited to, you know, have new principals come in, you know, I can imagine how challenging this change is too for the people that are in the buildings that are with some beloved principals now that, you know, they'll be missing them. So, you know,
It's true.
I feel for people
all
that
of
are
us.
going to have that change. So, you know, I'll be sad to see these people leave too.
Madam Chair, I just thought of something. I know we talked about the Tewksbury Memorial High School play coming up this weekend. The Wynn Middle School also has a big weekend of theater.
We're mad at them because they didn't send anybody.
Well, they don't have any singers for
singers,
this
no
production.
I'm kidding.
They could have probably done their whole 30-minute production. It's a
Right.
quick 30-minute to 40-minute show. They're performing on Friday, and then 2 shows on Saturday, and then at the festival on Sunday again. And their tickets are available during the school day through students or at the door.
Yes, thank you. And it is exciting to be having the Wynn Middle School host the
METG.
METG on Sunday, yes, so it's
They
exciting.
represent so well.
Yeah.
All those actually, all of those schools have been coming through and doing dry runs and rehearsals at the Wynn this week. So I've heard some chatter about how excited all those kids are. They're coming from all over. We'll get some from pretty far away for that show.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So future school committee meeting dates, May 5th and 7th, the school committee and administration will be at the town meeting and special town meeting at the high school gym. On May 8th, there's the special town meeting listening session for the entire school community to be able to hear your thoughts and opinions on fees. On May 21st, which is a Tuesday, will be our next formal business meeting. And on June 10th will be our final school committee meeting of the school year. Then future subcommittee and advisory meeting dates. The CPAC business meeting, as you mentioned, is on May 15th. The Wellness Advisory Committee will be meeting on June 4th. The listening sessions will be May 8th for specifically fees, as I mentioned, and May 13th. And the Policy Subcommittee will be on May 13th. And Tewksbury School Facility Study Committee is to be determined. And any future agenda items.
So I know you mentioned policies that we could possibly look into. If, I know you have a long list that you're already going through. If you could put JJE, it's student fundraising, JJE-E, requests for fundraising, and JJF. Those were last updated in 2016.
What was the middle one?
JJE-E, request for, it's the fundraising form. I think it could just be improved to
I think that's
more
on,
current.
yeah. I think the J's are kind of, we're in the J's.
So-
So that's not too far off.
Good, we'll put that at the top then.
And I think, have you already shared those with the PACs at the townwide PAC?
We have, and there's lots of thoughts, you know, on all aspects, the form, the process, clarifying it. That's a big lift, that one, because there are so many policies and procedures that go along with it, and then the difference between a PAC and the boosters. So we understand the need, and definitely will engage our PAC leaders with Ms. Johnson to give her the feedback we need to do that, because we can create a policy, create a new form, but we really need the people that do the work to have the input as to will this work before we bring it here.
Yeah, there's a lot of PTO, PTA, PAC chatter throughout many districts right now around what the best way is for towns to run their fundraising, to make it fair across their schools, across the grade levels, so that you know, in a town where you have 2 schools for the same grade level, 2 K-1s, are they doing similar things to make their enrichment activities consistent across both schools? And does it make sense to have one fundraising organization that subcommittees out to your elementary schools? Is something that's been on the PTO boards that I kind of follow along with, that, you know, you have one organization that then is able to fundraise all together and then say, here's your elementary, you know, part of the your budget is based by your schools.
Population.
Right. So there just is some stuff out there right now that might be good to get ahead of. And as you've already mentioned, talk to the townwide community on that to see what their thoughts are. But I think volunteerism is tough to get as you start to get up to the older grades, and this all-in-one model that's kind of floating around out there keeps all those people together throughout, so that you kind of constantly building your bench strength. It's an interesting model. Not one to necessarily take on, but something to kind of put out in the communication webs when you're talking to people.
Well, please share your ideas.
Yeah.
It's a big lift.
Yeah.
There's lots of
It's
ideas
going to take
from
some
many
time.
people.
But yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely
you.
share ideas. And if you have, if you find other districts that have maybe a model policy that you think we should be looking at, that's a great place to start. That's been very helpful, I think, with some of our policies, is if we've found other districts that have maybe some core components that, you know, are some place to start. So yeah, and so from here, we're doing this a little bit unconventional for us in terms of having our executive session at the end. So I can move that we move into executive session.
Madam Chair, when we adjourn from executive session, we won't be returning to an open session, correct?
Correct.
I'll make a motion to move into the non-public executive session and adjourn our meeting from there.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion, Mrs. Biagioni Smith, a second by Mrs. Anderson, and we will not be returning to an open session. We'll be adjourning from executive session, and that will be our adjournment from the business meeting as well. For a roll call vote, how do you vote? Mr. Moncada?
Aye.
And Mrs. Biagioni Smith?
Aye.
And Mrs. Anderson?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well for a unanimous vote.